What is up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well today. We're back with another episode of the Memo. You got these same guys as always: Alex Masados, Richard Lyons, and Matthew Brodsky. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're bringing back the Stamp Shred this week. Always very exciting when we got a Stamp Shred. We're going to do our predictions as always, and we're going to start off with some news around the NFL. There's been some switch-ups in some lineups. There's been some pretty surprising wins and losses around the league. So we're going to go through all of them, the ones that we find interesting. And the one we're going to start with first, I know there's quite a battle going on in this group of people about this situation. So we're going to start with the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield, who got benched in a absolute blowout against the Steelers. Who would have thought that the Steelers would win the game? Me. And
Alex dodged a bullet there with that flip-flop.
Alex dodged a big-time bullet when he heard my
You guys are acting like I switched picks at halftime.
Yeah, you might as well have.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at the timestamp of the tape. And no, but so Baker Mayfield gets benched. They lose, 38-7, something ridiculous like that.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about how serious we think that is. Is it a one-game thing? Is it, something they're considering going forward? I doubt they would just start Keenum outright going forward, but is Baker on the short leash now? Or was it just a, blowout game? He just wasn't playing well. We've seen it happen all the time where, you just take out the starter at that point, throw someone else in. It's happened to Tom Brady. So who knows?
I think he might be on the hot seat too.
Yeah. Rosen coming from the practice squad.
Is he on the Bucks?
Oh my God,
he's on the Bucks practice squad.
Jesus.
Yeah, Richard follows his life every day.
Seriously, I'm surprised.
They fucking Ian Rappaport or someone tweeted about it. You think I was looking it up? Where's Josh Rosen?
Yes, I would not be surprised at all.
All right, so
I didn't start my audio. Fuck.
It's fine. I can use the other audio
for
the beginning.
I started it now. You have to remind us, Richard. You think we can fucking act on our own?
You would think at this point, you guys have some sort of self-responsibility. Well, now that your audio is recording, why don't you give me your feelings about Baker Mayfield? What do you think is going on there?
Well, I definitely don't think they're going to start Case Keenum in the next game. Let's just make that clear. But
you want to talk about me with Rosen? You should hear what Alex has said about Keenum in the past.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay, Case Keenum is 50 times better than Josh Rosen.
That's true.
But but yeah, Baker so far this season has been very suspect. They've played some really bad teams that he has had some success against. One being the Cowboys, that it seems like everyone can throw for 300 yards and a few touchdowns against. And these last two games, Baker just has really not played too well. And the only reason I'm saying it's getting concerning is he has no excuse at this point. The offensive line is better. The weapons are incredible. They have Odell Beckham, they have Jarvis Landry, they have, I know Nick Chubb is hurt, but they have Kareem Hunt. I kind of think that the poor play is pretty inexcusable at this point. You look to your quarterback who you drafted, was it number 1 overall?
Yeah. First overall pick.
He was drafted first overall pick in the draft.
It's a big surprise.
Yeah, and he was rookie of the year. He had a good rookie year, and he's kind of plateaued the last two. Whatever. He had a great rookie year. He was in the running for rookie of the year. It was basically between him and Saquon. And he's kind of plateaued the last 2 seasons. If not, he's regressed a little bit. I know he's been banged up, but hopefully Baker can put it together soon. But it looks like to me he's holding this offense back, and they played a fantastic defense in the Steelers, and they obviously benched him because he's a little banged up. His ribs are injured, and it was 38-7. They don't want him to to risk anything else there.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying Baker Mayfield is playing bad.
Holding them back for what? They won 4 games in a row and played arguably the best team in the NFL with the best defense in the league. I mean, he had a bad game.
I expected
but
them to be more competitive.
I
expected them to be more.
I picked them to win. I thought they'd be more competitive too, but I mean the whole team just didn't play well. They gave up 38 points to the Steelers, who, I mean, their offense is not like world beaters by any means. They win games because of their defense. So the team, I think the Browns are still trying to figure out how to like compete against good teams in the league. And I mean, I wouldn't pin everything on Baker Mayfield. I think that that's like a little bit too far. I think that he's been fine. They're in the 4 games that they won. He was playing good turnover-free football. Obviously, they're at their best when they're running the ball too. So, not being able to get anything on the ground against the Steelers' defense is, going to put the ball in Baker's hands probably a lot more than the Browns' offense is comfortable with doing at this point. So I think it was just a combination of a lot of different things that led to a poorly put together game all around for the Browns. And like you said, the benching of Baker Mayfield is nothing more than the game was out of reach. He has a rib injury that he's dealing with, and there's no reason to keep him in there against that defense when the game is not able to be won anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. But like, Baker Mayfield is definitely still a quarterback that like the offensive coordinator and the head coach need to mask his weaknesses, and that's like throwing on the run, sitting in the pocket. As soon as he gets a little bit of pressure, he's on the run, he has his head down, and then he throws some bullshit or gets sacked and throws an interception. And Kevin Stefanski, being a first-year head coach, isn't some offensive guru yet that can build a great offense around Baker Mayfield and mask his weaknesses in the way that like Kyle Shanahan masks like Jimmy G's. At least not yet, like 6 games into his coaching career. So I don't know. The Browns are playing well, but like I'm just disappointed in what we've got from Baker Mayfield from the last 2 seasons. That's the bottom line.
I kind of agree with both of you because Baker, like, he did what he had to do in those wins, and he didn't look bad. But at the same time, he's throwing for like 150 yards, like 211 yards. Like, he's not absolutely popping off, and that's probably by design. They want to run the football, like we said. I mean, they ran for like 300-something yards in a game. So there's no need for him to pass the ball and, like, sling the rock when they're doing that, because you can control the football, you can control the clock, control the tempo of the game when you're running the ball like that. But it's also concerning that he was the first overall pick and they're having to mask any of his weaknesses at this point, because if you're picking a quarterback first overall, I think the end goal is for you to be able to lean on them in tough situations. And if they're at the point with him in his 3rd year with these great weapons, with this now top of the league O-line, and he still has to be, hidden and protected and mask whatever weaknesses he has behind this run game, I think that's a little bit of a concern. But I'm not like going to, sound the alarm yet, because we've seen in the past, especially his rookie year, that he has the talent to, throw the ball and throw it all over the field. I don't know if like last year kind of gave him the jitters and like he doesn't have the same confidence he once had, or if they're just not turning him loose on purpose and like slowly trying to bring him along in this offense that Stefanski brought here. But I don't know. I see both sides of it, and I also agree, like, they're not putting in Case Keenum next week. Like, Baker's a starter, and he's going to be the starter the whole year. But I don't know. I think there is a little bit for room for concern there, just considering where he was drafted and where he's at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I went into Sunday thinking that was going to be the game of the week, and it was going to be like a classic AFC North, like, just physical, good classic AFC North matchup, and the AFC North has been pretty bad the last few seasons. Not like, and it's pretty much always one of the best divisions in football. So I was excited for this one, and I was just disappointed in that, like, the Browns weren't even able to compete. They looked like the Browns of old that were always, for the last few seasons, extremely disappointing. And I'm a little bit worried about where the season is going to go for them. They didn't look like a great team at all.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's one game. Teams sometimes they just have that game. They did get absolutely trounced week 1. But, I feel like week 1, different story. But sometimes you just have those games, and in the end of the day, they're 4-2 right now. Who do they play next?
That's what I'm saying.
Bengals.
I'm not worried for the
Bengals?
season moving forward. They play the Bengals, Raiders, Texans, Eagles, Jaguars. Their next 5 games.
All right,
They're
they
gonna be fine.
should win most of those games. I'm sure. We'll see. I mean, they didn't. What was the score of the first Bengals game?
It was close. It was like
35-30.
5-point game.
Okay, but wasn't it like they scored at like the last?
Garbage
They
time
were like
touchdown,
35
yeah.
to
The game was
23.
never really in doubt.
Yeah.
They just covered the spread because I had the Browns.
Yeah, so we'll see where they go from here. I mean, the Steelers were their biggest test since week 1. When
When they also got smoked.
Yeah, but I do kind of agree with Alex that Baker's got to do more, and he has to show he can do more when it's being put on his shoulders. Like there's going to be times where you can't run the ball, and there's going to be times where you're going to have to throw the ball and make plays through the air, and that's why you pick a quarterback first overall. You don't pick a quarterback first overall to give the ball to Nick Chubb when it comes down to it. Like Nick Chubb is a great player. I'm not saying you can't revolve your offense around Nick Chubb, but you want your quarterback to be able to get it done when it matters. You're not going to run the ball in a 2-minute drill.
All right, I think
You can't run a
it.
2-minute drill if you're down 38-7.
Look, the Browns are not a complete product right now. They're still working on getting the team together with the new system. They're playing well. They're still 4-2. Their schedule. They have a lot of winnable games coming up. They just have to figure out how to win these bigger games. As a very inexperienced team. Baker hasn't been perfect, but I ultimately think that they're going to be fine. I'm not going to overreact to a Week 6 game against the Steelers team, who the Steelers are better right now. They're just a better team. I thought it would be more competitive. I took the Browns to win that game. We'll get to the predictions later. I had a really rough fucking week, but I was disappointed in the Browns' performance. But at the same time, shit like that it happens every now and then to a team.
Of course. I'm not writing them off. I think they'll be in the playoff hunt at the end of the season. I think they're going to have the best year they've had in many years. I just want to see more from Baker towards the end. I want to see him, start to really show why he was their first overall pick. And you're right, they have a new head coach, new system, but I'm not going to say they're still trying to round out the team. They're one of the most talented teams in the league.
Yeah.
They have an elite edge rusher. They have great cornerback, Denzel Ward, unless he fell off all of a sudden. I know he's been a great cornerback in the past. They have a good D-line in general. Their O-line is top 10 in the league right now. Great receiving core, great running backs.
They're missing their best player on offense.
Look, Chubb is great. Is Kareem Hunt that much of a downgrade from Nick Chubb?
I think the two of them together makes their offense entirely an entirely different team.
I don't know. I feel like they ran for 300 yards when the game that he went down.
Chubb is arguably the best running back in the NFL when healthy.
Yeah, it's not a matter of the drop off to Hunt. The two of them together is an incredible combination. I think that their offense is built for that.
I mean, like you said, one game, they won 4 in a row before that. I don't think Nick Chubb was going to win them this game in particular.
No.
But
no.
Of course he's a loss. I'm just saying, I think they have the talent to get by without Nick Chubb. Not every team in the league, their starting running back goes down and they have Kareem Hunt as their backup,
I think the Steelers proved something this week, that they're a legit top team in the NFL with that defense. Losing Devin Bush is a big loss for them. That sucked. He tore his ACL. He's out for the year.
Yeah.
But, and honestly, I
was the second time he was out for the year?
No.
Did I
Is he
make
a
that
rookie?
up? Oh.
This is his second year.
I think this is his second year.
Wasn't there a Devin this year? Was it Devin White?
They were both last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But, no, and I'll be honest with you, I was away this weekend. I didn't see hardly any of this football game. So, I don't know how it played out. I got the updates that it was an absolute blowout, and I obviously know Baker did not play well. But the Steelers' defense, I'd be hard-pressed to find a quarterback who does play well against this defense right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they're one of our games this week in our predictions, and pretty sure they're going to be sort of part of one of our stamp shreds, no?
Yeah.
All right, so if we want to, we'll get more into the Steelers later and what we think about them. But if you guys don't have any more to say about the Browns, we have another team that got trounced pretty bad in a very surprising fashion. If you want to move on to that, Green Bay Packers. Someone said this in the group, in one of our group chats, talking about Aaron Rodgers doing the hip dance up 10-0, and then they lose 38-10. So it's kind of funny, looking back at that. But very surprisingly, the Bucs absolutely demolished. Those were like our two biggest games of the week of our picks last week. We were like, oh, both of these games, Browns, Steelers, Packers, Bucs, going to be awesome. Both end up being pretty similar scores too, 38-7, 38-10. What the hell happened, man?
This was such a weird game. And this is funny, too, because I was saying how I was away this weekend and I wasn't able to watch the games. I was traveling back home on Sunday. I was with Jeff. We had the game on our phone. He had it stuck up to the dashboard, and the Packers are up 10-0. And I kind of fell asleep for a quarter or two, and I woke up and it was 28-10 Bucs. I was like, what the fuck happened here? So I went back and looked at the box score and everything, and just after that, after the touchdown that got called back, they finished that drive, but then they had absolutely nothing going on offense. It was crazy to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said it in the predictions last week going into the game, unless it might have been we were talking about fantasy off the air because I have Aaron Jones. I was saying it's concerning. Oh, no, we did say it, and I was like, the Bucs have the best run defense in the league every year, for no reason. And I was, concerned that they were going to shut down Aaron Jones, which they pretty much did. I think he got me, 12 points, but it's because he had that one receiving touchdown. Or, no, that one goal line touchdown. So he didn't play well. Aaron Rodgers had, the worst game of his life.
He had 5 points for me.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
They just looked out of sync, and they just got Devontae Adams back, too, so that was pretty weird. I'm not concerned about the Packers. I don't think any of us are. I think it was just that bad game.
I'm a little concerned about the Packers, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the same thing that they did last year. They destroyed all the weaker teams in the NFL, and then they played up against when they played better teams. They really lost pretty convincingly. I don't know what it is about them that they just It seems like if they get down early, there's no fight or effort to come back, and I don't know if it's a defensive problem or offensive line. I know Rodgers was running for his life in the second half, the part of the game that I was able to catch. He never looked comfortable. I don't know if the offensive line is healthy right now. I think who's Bakhtiari? What's his name?
I'm not sure.
Something Bakhtiari, their good offensive lineman. He got hurt in that game. And I just saw guys in Rodgers' face every single play. Ndamukong Suh and him were going at it back and forth for a lot of that game, just talking smack. And I think it's something to keep an eye on with the Packers in big games, at least. See how they're going to respond when somebody stands up to them, and they're not just going to let Aaron Rodgers throw for 300 yards all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, they did make it to the NFC Championship, so they had to go through some good teams to get there, but then once they got against a great pass rush in the 49ers, they really had no chance. So, maybe that, like you're saying, once they face a team with an elite pass rush, who will make any team struggle, but can they pull something else out of the hat to, counter it? Like you said, if Aaron Rodgers can't throw for 300 yards, what are they going to do? So I guess it's a little cause for concern, but at the same time, that's their first loss of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you guys. Just very very surprised by this, and I was saying before last week that I'm getting to that point with the Packers that it doesn't really matter who they play. I'm just gonna pick them because they were so good through the first few games of the season, and and I'm not too concerned. I feel like this was just like a weird bump in the road. But I think they'll get back on track. They looked. I mean, through the first up until this point, they've looked better than the Chiefs so far. And yeah,
they also
saying
play.
something.
I mean, we talk about strength of schedule a lot. I mean, they beat the Vikings, Lions, and Falcons, who are three of the worst defenses in the NFL. Because they had a nice
those
win
looked
against
like
the Saints.
It's tough.
Those
early
looked
in
like
the
better
year.
wins. Those looked like better wins at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually are.
I don't know. I just don't think they're this like. I think if they played the Bucks again in like 2 weeks, I don't think they'd get absolutely trounced like this. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
they play the
Buc-
Texans next week, so they'll be able to get right there. Another, team that might have looked like a threat earlier in the year, who now they're gonna add another 1-5 team to their win resume, which won't end up being that impressive. But I mean, it's still the Texans, so we'll see.
Yeah, still.
I don't know. They play the Texans this week.
Yeah.
The Texans have been looking a lot better since they fired Bill O'Brien. Surprise, surprise.
Wasn't that the first game they played without him?
Second.
And what, they're 1-5?
Yeah, they beat the Jaguars the first game without him.
And
They
then
beat the
lost this
Jaguars, and
weekend?
then
They compete. They lost in
took
OT
the
to the
Titans
Titans.
to overtime.
Yeah.
The offense
mean-
just looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I think this will be
Brandon
like
Cooks is coming along. I got him on my.
I know. I fucking dropped him, and he's
I know.
back-to-back great games.
I had him on my bench. Thank God I pulled out that win.
it could be a
But
be a
listen-
good game.
All right, so maybe it's not time to press the panic button in Green Bay. Obviously, we all can agree with that. I think the story of the game is how good the Bucs are starting to look. That defense is legit,
After-
being able to destroy Aaron Rodgers like that and make him uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And the offense kind of
Yeah.
just had their way with the Packers' defense. I mean, it looks like they're finally starting to gel over there.
Yeah, I mean they
you
got.
know who,
What were you saying, Alex?
sorry, I was gonna say who looked really good was Gronk. He was doing like those old Gronk plays where he just like boxes out defenders in the end zone and just makes catches, and he really looked like a red zone threat. So maybe he's like playing himself into shape a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely someone who has been saying he looks washed, but at the same time, he was retired off for a year. He was
Yeah,
no
he
preseason.
absolutely looked washed.
Yeah, no preseason or anything. It was going to take him some time to get back into any football shape if he was going to. I still don't think he's going to, break out and be Gronk of old, but I still think he could be a good weapon for them, like you said, in the red zone.
Yeah.
Another guy who's looked great for them the past 2 weeks, Mr. Ronald Jones, rushed for over 100 yards past 2 weeks.
3 weeks in a row.
Did he?
He's a
Yeah,
good
so he's
player.
the only player to do it 3 weeks in a row.
See, whenever you look it up on Google, it never
don't have the
shows
game.
the most recent game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he had 111 against the Chargers, 106 last week against Chicago, and then I'm not sure what he had this week. But, they brought in Leonard Fournette, and that first game they had Fournette, he still played more than Fournette, I think, but then the next week I think Fournette out-snapped him and out-carried him, and everyone was like, all right, it's the Fournette show now, and he had 113 yards this week. But now Fournette's been out with his ankle injury, and I think he might have been active this game but didn't really play. I'm not sure. But he's showed that he can be the starter, and maybe they have a nice 1-2 punch in Fournette and Ronald Jones over there. They also got Godwin back this week, so they're getting healthy.
Yeah.
They're getting chemistry. The defense is looking really good.
Their offensive line has
def-
played well too. Tristan Wirfs, their first-round draft pick, has been one of the better rookies so far.
Yeah.
And then I know Ali Marpet, their guard. I see him getting a lot of praise across Twitter and like the PFF circles. But it seems like everywhere Tom Brady goes, every year he's got a good offensive line. And if that's the case, they have a couple running backs by committee, and Tom Brady able to sit back there, good things are going to happen for the offense.
Yeah, I mean, part of it, I'm sure, with Tom Brady is that he is an absolute master of reading the defense pre-snap. So he's, calling protections, calling coverages. And obviously you need talent on the O-line, but that's also, part of it is communication and knowing the proper blocking scheme to set up pre-snap. So it's not a surprise that, Brady probably helps the O-line play better. But, the Bucs have been a talented team. They just had a quarterback who would have 30 turnovers every year. So, maybe what they needed was someone to come in and not throw 30 interceptions.
It couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I really like what I'm seeing out of Ronald Jones. He just looks like a really good player. Like he drives his foot into the dirt and like really runs hard north and south. He like engages in contact. He runs over guys. He's like pretty fast. I like him.
Yeah,
good
I mean
player.
he was good in college. I mean, what is this? His third year, third year? He went to USC, right?
This is his third season.
He played with
USC.
Pretty sure he played with Darnold. Yeah, but I think he was a good prospect. I just maybe they didn't know how to unlock him, but it's cool. I'm happy to see him playing well, and they really if they're all healthy and they're clicking, their offense is scary. They have the 2 elite receivers, maybe two very good running backs. I'm not going to call the running backs elite, but 2 very good running backs.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Is O.J. Howard out for the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he tear his Achilles?
I don't know.
He did something bad. But they're gelling right now, and
yeah.
who they have?
They lost to the Bears last week, which was kind of a disappointing loss, but I think we were all on the same page that we weren't going to overreact to that. It's so early in the season, and it was going to take this team some time to figure stuff out, considering new offense for Brady and no offseason, all that crap. But this was as good of a win as they're probably going to get.
Mm-hmm. Next week, Sunday Night Football, Bucs Raiders. Another blowout for the Bucs.
That'll be interesting. We'll see how they fare against the elite player Derek Carr. They had a bye this week.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Bucs take down the Packers in very convincing fashion, and then one other thing we wanted to get to before we move on to our Stamp Shred segment. It's that time of year, folks. It's double T time. It's Tua time in Miami. A little bit of a surprising move. Not that surprising. I know, Alex, you said to me, they're looking like a good team. They're in playoff contention. Maybe, smart move to go to Tua because he's probably more talented than Fitzpatrick. But at the same time, surprising that they are, 3-3 now in possible playoff contention with Fitzpatrick as the starter, and then you move on from him. I guess those 2 pass attempts against the Jets were convincing enough to move on from Fitz. But, Tua's going to be the starter.
How many passes he completed?
2.
2 of them.
I was thinking about this a lot because, like you said, it seems on the surface like a weird decision, given that they're 3-3, right in the middle of the playoff hunt right now. For the wild card at least, and then they're 1 game behind Buffalo after 2 losses by the Bills. I don't think anyone's taking Miami to win the division, but they're sitting pretty good right now in terms of the playoffs. I feel like maybe this was always the plan all along. Miami's bye week, make the switch to Tua, give him extra week to prepare. I'm sure Fitzpatrick seems like he's done everything he can to mentor him along the way. He was trying to hype up the crowd when Tua got in against the Jets on Sunday. Maybe that this was just the plan, just get him in for the bye week, no matter what happens, and just let him go.
That's a good point, and it almost seemed like, leading up to this point, Fitzpatrick maybe kind of knew that was the plan because they would ask him about it, and he would just kind of say, I'm here for when he does go in, when he takes my job. I know he's taking my job. I'm not here to remain the starter. So maybe they told him, you're going to start off the season. We'll see how we're faring. And then, after week 6, we want to throw him in. And, maybe now, the team has confidence. You throw the rookie in there, not just into a complete dumpster fire. It's obviously a better situation than most. But, it's going to be exciting. R.I.P. Fitzmagic for the 17th year. It was a nice run. But we'll see you next year, I'm sure. You'll be somewhere.
Yeah, he'll pop up someday.
Yeah.
But honestly, I like the move. Like you guys just mentioned. At this point, I don't. Tua's obviously never played before, but I don't think that there's going to be much of a drop off between Tua and Fitzpatrick. As a team who might have playoff aspirations this year, moving to Tua might help them out. If he turns into what we think he's going to be. Burrow and Justin Herbert have both had success early on. Seems like more and more rookie quarterbacks are able to step in and have early success. So maybe this is what the team needed to take them to the next level, to actually be a wild card playoff threat. Yeah, it'd be great if they were able to get in, as a young team like that.
Yeah, and they have a lot of draft picks over the next few years. They're gonna be good.
They are. If Tua pans out, they're going to be a dangerous team.
Yeah.
I think that might be part of why they feel that. I think that might be part of why they feel the need to go to Tua this early, even though it looks like they were going to be competing with Fitzpatrick. Is they have the Texans pick, which is looking like it's going to be a high pick, and maybe they just they want to get like a good serving size of games with Tua to see like what he's got, who they can pair him with, what kind of prospects they can put around him to really build that team for the future. And like even though they looked like they were competing with Fitzpatrick, like how that always ends up.
Yeah.
So it might be worth it to just just like even if there is a drop off from Fitzpatrick to Tua, like just see what you got for this season, and if you miss the playoffs, like. And it's whatever.
If anyone knows what happens with Fitzpatrick, it's Chan Gailey, who is the Dolphins' offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Fitzpatrick hasn't been that good. Even in the game Sunday against the Jets, he wasn't that great. They
threw 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, he has 7 touchdowns, 7 picks on the year. So I mean, he's being Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what you're getting. He's going to have a great play here and there. He's going to turn around and have an awful mistake. I think it's definitely worth it just to at least get Tua some game reps.
How does that happen? I mean, this guy has started how many damn games and just can't figure it out?
He just, you know what? He's got balls. He sees the shot. He takes it, and whatever happens, happens. He doesn't.
Can't believe
no regrets. He's a no regrets quarterback.
Can't believe that. I
think he figured it out, man.
In a season in Jets history.
How much money has he made over the course of his career?
Yeah,
I think he figured it out.
I mean, listen, the guy went to Harvard. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He just gets to move to every lit city. Goes to Miami. Goes to New York. He was in Buffalo for
Tampa
a bit,
Bay.
but
he's beaten the Jaguars with 6 teams.
He was in Houston. He was in.
Think about that.
Who was he drafted by this? Yeah.
He has beaten the Jaguars with 6 different franchises. I mean, that's just... I find that to be hilarious.
He drafted by the Bills?
No, I think he was drafted by the Rams.
The Rams. I didn't even know he was on the Rams. He's been on so many teams.
Rams, Bengals, Bills, Titans, Texans, Jets, Buccaneers, Dolphins.
I forgot he was on the Rams and the Titans.
I forgot he was with the Titans too.
Damn,
good for him.
That's a long career.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I really hated him after that second year with the Jets, but honestly, at this point, boss.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see what Tua's going to do. He was great in college. He seems like he's got all the tools. His biggest thing was staying healthy. I know the Dolphins' offensive line is really not that good, and they're going up against Aaron Donald his first game. So I'm praying for good things there and good health for Tua, but I don't know about it. But no, I hope he's successful. It seems like this could be shaping up to be a very good rookie draft class for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking boss in the picture that I just sent you guys.
What?
Oh, I know what it is already. Oh, that's not it.
What do you think? I feel like
I know the one.
I know what you're talking about. I like
when he's got like the chain and the open up chest.
Yeah.
That's the coolest picture of all time.
Wow, I can't believe you went to Harvard.
Yeah.
Is he the
he's
best
had a great
football
career for
player from
himself.
Harvard ever?
Easily.
He must be, right?
Niv Sultan.
You
Oh,
won't believe what I just
That
said.
one's the best.
It's the sickest picture ever.
I got
We could throw it up for
Yeah, I'm gonna
for an
throw it
ad
on
or
the
whatever. But I mean,
It
listen,
looks like
that
Zach
guy,
Galifianakis.
yeah. If Zach Galifianakis was the coolest man on earth,
Was that post game? He just came out in that.
yeah, it was after he threw for 400 yards or something.
Did he
That chain?
Did he have that waiting in case he went off? He was like, all right, if
Yeah,
I do well,
he
I'm
just
gonna come
keeps
out
it there in his locker room every week. He threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Eagles, and then walked out like that.
Jesus. He is
I mean,
hairy.
what a guy. Yeah. Didn't he also recently shave his beard and then it just grew back immediately?
Yeah,
Wasn't it? I think it was a
was
thing
like, you
that
ever
he
see
shaved it in the off season.
Is it Tim Allen, Santa Claus, and he tries to shave his beard and it keeps growing back? You ever see that movie?
Just immediately.
Yeah, because he kills Santa Claus by accident, so he has to be Santa Claus. So he keeps growing this white beard and he shaves it off, and then it just keeps growing back. It's Fitzpatrick.
Maybe they should have casted Fitz for the role.
Maybe he's Santa Claus.
No,
We don't
but
know.
good for Fitzpatrick. He's had a great career. How old is he?
37.
Yeah.
He's got one more contract in him.
I think he's got 4 more. This guy's gonna keep going, man. I mean, if Josh McCown could go until he was 41.
Yeah. Fuck it, why not?
He has 7 children.
Fitz?
Yeah.
Just one for every city he's fucking lived in.
That's why he needs to keep getting contracts.
It's all right, this is Titan, this is Bengal, this is Buccaneer. So we can
Jet.
remember his career.
This is Jet.
Dolphin.
That'd be fucking funny.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right.
He has
Well-
the Jets record for touchdown passes in a season.
Yep. And
That
Chan
says all you
Gailey,
need to know about the Jets.
Chan Gailey, underrated offensive coordinator, that guy. He seems to just know how to get them.
Guts?
No, I didn't mind Chan Gailey. I just didn't like Fitz. I actually was pretty upset that Bowles got rid of Chan Gailey, and then their offense would just get worse and worse every year until we had Jeremy Bates. So,
I don't even know. I've
now-
never heard that name before in my life.
he was the offensive coordinator Darnold's rookie year, but now we have Adam Gase, so it got worse, surprisingly.
Offensive glue.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on now before we get off on another Jets tirade.
Yeah.
I did want to say though, Rich, good work on that rant that you posted the other day.
Yeah,
I
you
enjoyed
like that?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That's
I
good content.
I couldn't even wait until the end of the game. It just, dude.
I mean, to get shut out.
Shutout, the first shutout of the year, and it was the longest sack in 30 years. The Joe Flacco got sacked for 20. First of all, what is he doing? What was he really? Thinks
I didn't even see the play, but I
He just
found it
running
so
and
funny.
So funny.
He's running and then he tries to reverse field. It's you're not getting away.
I gotta look it up.
Just run out of the tackle box and throw it.
Literally the second before that play, I was like, damn, the Jets' offensive line looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then he gets sacked for the longest loss of the season.
It's the longest loss in many, many years. It's not just the season. It's a long time.
How does he not throw it?
Take the grounding at that point. You
exactly,
fucking
yeah. Just take
sprinted
it.
backwards 40 yards.
Take the grounding penalty if you have to.
It
All
was
right.
terrible. No.
Let's move on to a segment that we haven't had in a couple weeks.
Joe Flacco perfectly replicates the longest negative play in Super Bowl history.
Yes, that's the name of the segment. Okay.
No, I'm trying to find out how many years since the longest sack. Okay, you can go on to the stamp shred. We won't be able to talk about Tua for 2 weeks though until he plays. So, get your last thoughts out now.
Why is he sitting on the field? In my opinion,
He said he was FaceTiming his parents or something.
That's fine. Stop it.
See, but ESPN, see that's why it's ESPN's
Yes,
fault. They're
ESPN
Tua's
makes you hate
taking
it.
in the moment. It's
Yes.
he said he was no, I was FaceTiming my parents.
See, yeah, they the Instagram and shit like that, they make you hate players, and it has nothing to do with like the person itself. Not you specifically, but like they turn everyone against these players because they can't leave them alone. There's nothing wrong with what he did. It's a nice moment. FaceTiming your family after your debut. I like that.
They're like, that's the 15-yard line where he hurt his knee. It's like, he's just sitting on the fucking field, yo.
That's the 15-yard line where he hurt his knee, but it was actually on the 40-yard line, and it was his hip. But it's still almost the same. Oh, man.
No, nothing's worse than the fucking weeks after Kobe Bryant died, and they were like 8 + 1, 81. If you take the Heat score and combine it with the Bengals score.
Every single stat was added together.
If you take the time Kobe dropped 81, you get 81. It's like, oh, really? Thanks.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
R.I.P. Kobe.
We're not making fun of him. We love Kobe, but like it's the people who, after he died, like try to make it this
so
whole thing.
Forced.
It's like, yo, come on,
stop it.
And it's because it's not for him. It's for like their social media clicks. Like, guys, look.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Okay,
right,
we'll get to our next segment here. Stamp or Shred is back. It's been a couple weeks, I think, but we didn't want to do it like too early in the season because most of them are just like, this team's good.
Yeah,
and we're just like, it's week 2.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do a Stamp Shred. That's why you get a lot of scrap heaps early in the year. For the 6th week in a row, we're not doing a scrap this week, but Adam Gase has been in the list every week so far. Yes, so you know. Yes.
We have a pile of Adam Gase pictures in our garbage cans.
Yeah. Okay. So give us the first Stamp Shred.
Sure. Okay. So our first Stamp Shred of the week. This is coming off the heels of a couple teams getting some big wins in the AFC. This is something that stood out to me, given a lot of talk coming into the season. The Baltimore Ravens, Stamp or Shred, the Baltimore Ravens remain the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC. And I know we talked about this off the air. It seems like a little bit of a random question right now, but I was taking a look at some of the preseason betting odds, some preseason predictions and favorites and such, and overwhelmingly so across most sports books, you had the Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens as the best odds to come out of the AFC. Nobody else was really, even within 800 points of the two of them. I just wanted to figure out if any of that has changed in your guys' eyes. So Stamp or Shred, Baltimore Ravens, biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC.
I'm going to shred this. I think the Ravens are a good team, but after what I saw from the Steelers against the Browns last week, they're seriously really fucking good. That pass rush is just incredible. They get after quarterbacks, and I honestly think, like, given, the Chiefs are incredible, but so far this season they've looked more human than they did last season, and so have the Ravens. And the only team that looks like unbeatable so far is the Steelers. And I feel like the Ravens have kind of like, I think they're intentionally trying to have Lamar like sit in the pocket and become more of a passer than he was in years past this season. And he's really not, he's still not a great passer. He's fine and he can hit an open receiver, but tough throws and tight window throws, like, he's not going to make those. And it seems like they're hesitant to let him loose and just kind of like do what Kyler Murray is currently doing, like running all over teams, and that's like the first option, and then taking the pass when it's there for you. The Ravens have kind of let teams hang around. Outside of the Browns game, they kind of, they're beating teams by like slim margins of victory. I expected them to beat the Eagles a lot more decisively last week, and they were winning by a lot over the course of the game, but they kind of just didn't like put the foot on their throat. Yeah, put the nail in the coffin. They're kind of just like letting teams hang around. And that worries me. Like I want to, for a team that's has the best odds to make it out of the AFC. I see that happening more with the Steelers than the Ravens. So I look forward to whenever they play each other for the first time this season. That should be an interesting matchup. But yeah, I'm shredding this. I really like the Steelers, and I still like the Titans too. I don't know, I don't know what they'll be in the playoffs. As good as they always look, it seems like Ryan Tannehill is just like not really that dude. But they still look good, and that they have playoff experience at this point. So I'm shredding this. I don't think the Ravens are for sure gonna be meeting the Chiefs in the AFC chip.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, and you just brought up the Titans. I'm gonna get to the Steelers in a second, but the Titans beat the Ravens in the playoffs last year, to everyone's very big shocking surprise, and they look really good, if not better, than they did last. Because last year was sort of they kind of came out of nowhere. They benched Mariota, they brought in Tannehill, and they went on the streak, and they shocked the world. And now they at least look better from the start of the season. We'll see where they go. But I've been on the Steelers train for a few weeks now, and I don't know if you guys remember, even last season, watching that defense, I was like, if they had Big Ben, they would have been a contender this year. And now they have him back. Yeah. He looks really good. He hasn't been slinging the ball maybe like he was in years past, but I think he still might just be like getting the rust off, and he's looked better each and every week. He has like 11 touchdowns and 1 pick. Chase Claypool looks really good. They obviously have Juju, who I know Matt's got some beef with right now, but their offense as a whole looks really good. And as long as you have Big Ben in there, they're a contender every year. I mean, every year they're always at least in the second round of the playoffs. They disappoint a lot, but I feel like they haven't had a defense this good in a really long time, like since they won the Super Bowl when they had Palomalu and prime James Harrison and all those guys like that. But this was their first, because I know we were concerned about their schedule at this point, the Steelers. This was their first big test in the Browns, and I know we just went on a whole segment before about the Browns, and maybe they're not what we thought, but they were playing well, the Browns, and the Steelers just stomped them out and said, nah, we're still on top. Like, maybe one day. Maybe one day for you, but not now.
Steelers have Titans this week and then Ravens next week. So
yeah, so they got 2 big tests in a row. We'll see, but I think if there's a team that can match Kansas City on offense, just because of weapon, and like the Steelers are always great on offense. I'm not saying Big Ben is Mahomes, but they just always are like have a lot of firepower on offense, and I think the Steelers defense is significantly better than the Chiefs, especially from a pass rushing standpoint. They might have the best pass rushing duo in the NFL with Dupree and Watt, and they're excellent at stopping the run. We just saw the Chiefs absolutely dominate the Bills with the run game. I don't think they could do that on the Steelers. But yeah, I'm not saying they're going to beat the Chiefs, but if someone's going to give them a run for their money, right now it looks like the Steelers.
Yeah, and I agree with you guys both. I'm going to shred this also. And if we're talking about specifically against the Chiefs, which I know that the statement was phrased this way, so if you're talking like every team, how
I kind of forgot
back to
about the Ravens there because I know it was more about the Ravens, but I think they're better than the Ravens if I have to add that.
No, yeah, that's fine. I understood what you meant, but as it pertains specifically to the Chiefs, I mean, we've seen the Chiefs, just dismantle the Ravens on multiple occasions now. Last year and this year, but neither game was particularly close. So I don't think from just a matchup standpoint that the Ravens can match up well against the Chiefs. But even in the grander scheme of the AFC, if you want to compare the Ravens to the Titans and the Steelers, like Alex was saying, there's something is not right with the Ravens offense this year. And I don't know if it's by design, trying to take a little bit off of Lamar's plate, or trying to make him throw more, to try. I don't know. I don't know what the goal would be, or if maybe it's just, they're just not as good as they
Keep
were.
your cards close to your chest, maybe. Like they know they can win games. Maybe just like
that's a possibility. I know that they haven't played many good teams aside from the Chiefs.
I actually had something to say about Lamar after you go. I completely forgot.
So yeah, and in terms of Lamar, specifically to what Alex was saying, he's obviously not the best passer. He leaves a lot to be desired with some of the throws that he makes. He's averaging 250 yards per game total, like passing and rushing, which is obviously not what he was doing last year when he won MVP. And the Ravens are 26th in yards per game on offense. I mean, that's not what you would ever expect for the Ravens after what we saw last year. They were second in the league last year, and they're 26th now. And they've played teams like the Bengals, the Redskins, the Washington football team, the Eagles. They haven't had like great defenses in their way, and they're still kind of struggling. Listen, they're 5-1. We're not going to start panicking with the Ravens. They're winning these games. Their defense has been pretty good. But yeah, I think that the Titans and the Steelers right now, they look like better, more complete football teams on both sides of the ball. I'd like to see them match up. I'm going to be looking forward to that Steelers-Ravens game a lot. But yeah, I'm going to shred this.
The Ravens play the Titans on November 22nd, so soon.
Is that Thanksgiving?
I think it's the Sunday before it.
Oh.
Yeah, so
that's too good of a game to be on Thanksgiving. I should have known that.
Yeah.
They don't put
they
don't
have
put good
to have
games.
the Lions there.
Yeah.
To get blown out.
And I can't wait to watch the Cowboys this year and Dalton. Gunslinger.
Raven Steelers is Thanksgiving. Real close.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
So
Texans Lions, baby. Let's go. Get your popcorn ready for that one.
Thing I was going to say about Lamar and Alex, what you brought up about Murray before, and I've seen other people kind of bring this up. Like, I don't know if this is like Matt just said, by design of the Ravens, or if mentally Lamar is just doing this himself, trying to look for the pass before the run. But like, I feel like he's not looking for those easy 10-yard gains that we look. Kyler Murray was like 8 for 22 last night passing, but he just ran all over the Cowboys, and he just got first downs when it mattered with his legs. And I feel like we're not seeing Lamar do that. Like he had a few weeks ago, he had that long touchdown, and this last week he had a long running touchdown. But like, it's just like those little scrambles that get you like 10 yards or 7 yards, 15 yards. Like, it's like he's not doing that this year. And I don't know if that's just like the Ravens were like, look, hold it back for now, and like maybe like keep you healthy towards the end of the year, like we ramp it up, or if it's just him like trying to focus on being a better passer because he knows that's why they like maybe lose big games, and in the playoffs like he has to be a passer. I don't know what it is.
That's 100% why they lose big games.
Yeah, so I don't know, but it's still like he's just not. He doesn't look like he's looking for the run the same way as he was, and it's not even just designed runs, like which they are also. I feel like doing less those design runs for him. But it's just like those little scrambles that I feel like he could get so easily.
Yeah, and listen, go ahead, Alex.
I said Matt said it a few weeks ago. Of course, you see it in the games where they play the Chiefs because the Chiefs just have their number. But in the playoff game against the Titans last year, like whenever they fall behind, which they don't do often at all, they win most of their games. They're always like out to a pretty decent lead, and then they just like run it out with their guys, Ingram, Lamar, whoever it is, Edwards. But whenever they fall behind and they need to look to Lamar to get them back in the game through the air, they can't get it done. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens against any other teams this season besides the Chiefs.
Yeah. What I was going to say, what's interesting too, I'm looking at the team stats. I just mentioned that they're 26th in total offense. They're scoring the most points per game in the league, which I'm a little confused about how that adds up.
Maybe turnovers?
Yeah, I'm looking at the turnovers now. They're like ninth in turn. All right, I mean, I guess it's pretty good, but so they're still scoring and they're still winning, right? They're 5-1. But Richard, to what you were
Special
saying
teams.
about how they might be like saving, keeping their cards close to the chest, saving some stuff for later in the year. While I think that that's a good point and that might be what they're doing, I think that that's kind of dangerous for them to do. You think we talked a lot about this throughout the basketball season. You think of a team like the Clippers, who are kind of like thinking that that everything is going to be given to them. They're a good team. They know that they're going to be there at the end of the year. The Ravens are also a team who have never really accomplished anything with this system. They're 0-2 in the playoffs with Lamar Jackson. He's in his third season, his second as a full-time starter. I would hope that they would be a team that is still trying to put their pedal to the metal and like really keep working and getting better instead of being in like this kind of cruise control offense and taking these wins for granted and worrying about it later this season, because that's when I think it'll come back to bite them against a team like the Titans, like it happened last year. So
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case, but it could very well be.
I think you're right there, and then maybe it is more of, they know they need Lamar to be a passer to win in the playoffs, so maybe they're just like, you have to get reps in this type of offense, and like we see how he progresses during the year, but he hasn't proven he can do it yet. He's not a bad passer. He's just not, great. Like, I think when he was coming into the league, people thought he like literally couldn't throw the ball. He can throw the ball. He just, like Alex said before, like, he's not Patrick Mahomes fitting it into tight windows on the run behind his back.
Right.
But we'll see where they go. And like you said, they're 5-1. So it's like, it's funny. I feel like with all these things we're talking about, it's all like teams that are like 5-1, 4-2, and we're like, what's wrong? but
Everyone sucks. What's going on?
But no, there is like a real concern there, just because we've seen it in the past.
Teams are more
multiple times.
Teams are more than just their record, Like the Bears are 5-1.
Listen.
We know how that's gonna go.
Well, they're amazing.
Listen, we're thinking long term here. These things will fly in week 6. When it gets down to crunch time, what are we going to be left with? The Baltimore Ravens have shown it before that they last year was very disappointing. So you don't want them to be stuck in a similar situation. And I think, Alex, you mentioned it again, and it is something that I've been saying. I think that there's serious problems or cause for concern when the Ravens are falling behind. And if Lamar is forced into those passing situations, like he can't keep up with Mahomes through the air. Like if they have to go back and forth, like that's going to be a very big problem.
That's the thing with the games with the Chiefs is they're over. Like everybody gets hyped for them because it's that like marquee matchup between Lamar and Mahomes, and the game's over by halftime because the Chiefs have the lead, and that it's the Ravens aren't coming back.
Yeah. So it's something to keep an eye on. And I said this the other day. It seems like the Ravens have the easiest schedule in the league every year. I look at them every week, and they're just up 30 on Washington or Cincinnati. And it's just like red zone cuts in, and they're like, 60-yard touchdown, Lamar Jackson, taking it to the fucking Lions or some shit. It's like, what? Do they play anyone?
You know the other red zone guy? You know how there's the one for DirecTV?
Andrew Siciliano.
He had a COVID scare, but he didn't have it.
Yo, that's so weird that you brought that up because we were watching Red Zone on Sunday. Jeff has DirecTV. And
so he has him.
He said it was Siciliano, and I was like, this guy fucking sucks.
Is he
and
worse?
Then it turned out that it wasn't Siciliano because he had a COVID scare, and it was just like a random-ass guy that filled in. And I was like, this is so bad.
I wonder how he is. I mean,
I didn't even get to hear him.
I've heard him like speak before. Like he doesn't have the Scott Hansen voice.
He's the guy whose ears come out like off the screen.
Yeah. But like I can't imagine anyone else but Hansen.
I know, it was really it honestly, watching that, and it ruined the red zone for me. I'm not even lying. It was just like there was nothing there, no juice. No juice.
Because he's like, look at this 5-yard pass
Yeah.
by Tua. Like,
Oh, Hansen gets me so fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Here's an interesting stat. Jackson is 0-5 as a starter when the Ravens have trailed by double digits at any point in a game, and 0-4 when down by at least 10 at halftime. The Chiefs, on the other hand, are 6-0 when down 10 since last year.
That's stupid. For the Chiefs, that's ridiculous. I wonder what the league average is.
Yeah, I
with
was
that,
going to
though.
say, I wonder what, like, the winning percentage
It's probably
for
not
teams
good.
down 10 at half or down
Yeah.
double digits. Because,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
probably not good.
what the Chiefs do is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole
Yeah,
playoff
well, that's
run
why-
is just like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they're the champs.
Yep.
Yep.
Until
Yeah, but-
Big
but-
Ben gets his third or fourth.
Wow.
Third, right?
That's
He's
what
third.
we're calling it.
third.
All right, we'll hold you to that one the rest of the way now. Okay, moving along. It's time to shit on another 5-1 team. We have our next stamp shred. The Chicago Bears have a legitimate chance to win the NFC North. I think. Well, actually, Alex brought this one up, so I think he might go the other way. But I'm gonna shred this. I don't think Nick Foles is winning the NFC North over Aaron Rodgers. They have to play the Packers twice still. I think what Chicago's doing right now is nice. It's a bit of a surprise. They beat the Bucs, which is a good win. Aside from that, nothing much to really write home about. But they're actually fucked because they play the Rams, Saints, and Titans their next 3 games. So choose carefully here, Alex. But I'm shredding this. I'm not buying the Bears.
I don't know why you think I'm stamping this.
I don't know. You brought it to the table, so I thought that you were
you were asking
getting a
for
little Bears happy.
suggestions. No, I'm not Bears happy at all. Nick Foles is horrible.
He's better than Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, that's not saying much.
No, it is not.
They don't have. They're kind of. I guess they're kind of similar to that Eagles, the Eagles team that won the Super Bowl. They had a pretty good defense, but their offense was like electric before Foles came in, and then he ended up just playing really well in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure Carson Wentz led the NFL in touchdowns that year, and he missed like 2 or 3 games. What happened to him? But I don't think they have good enough weapons. Like, they lost one of their better weapons in Tariq Cohen for the season, and that's saying a lot right there. And that Tariq Cohen is one of their better weapons. They still have A-Rob.
Robinson.
Yeah, A-Rob is great, but that's about
Montgomery's
it.
good.
He's not that good.
He's better than Cohen.
He's just a ground and pound, like, runs right into the offensive lineman's fat ass every play.
You know what he's doing.
He averages 3.7 yards per carry. He's basically Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is not good. He gets cracked in the backfield like every play, every time they hand it off.
Okay, he's
yeah.
not good. I'm looking at it. He's not good. But he gets me like 15 a week in fantasy. So.
They give him a lot
Yeah, I
of
have him in
carries.
one of my leagues too. He's pretty reliable.
He gets some receptions.
But yeah,
with Cohen out, he's on the field every play.
Yeah.
Which
poor
I'll take.
Montgomery. He was just getting leveled on every play back there with Nick Foles.
Hey, can we
Nick
set
Foles
the
under center.
record straight here, Richard? If I hear you call him Montgomery one more time,
What?
it's
What?
David Montgomery. Who was the guy on the Jets?
Ty Montgomery?
Montgomery.
Does it matter?
It's just like you say, and that's just like I hear it, and I'm just like, it catches me off guard every time. It comes out. It's like it hurts you to say it, like the way you
Montgomery?
emphasize. It's like a strain on you to
It's
say it. You know,
Montgomery now.
it's like Montgomery. Like it sounds tough. I just want to make it easier. For
Montgomery? That hurts more. That hurts me.
It doesn't sound natural, and I just wanted to tell you that for a while now, and I'm glad that I got it off my chest.
I'm sorry. Well, I want to hear him say it.
Montgomery?
Montgomery is a pretty common name.
Well, maybe he doesn't say it like that. Maybe he's like, I want it to be Montgomery.
All right. Finish your thought, Alex. I got caught off guard.
Maybe he can't get past
I have nothing
the
else to
fucking-
say about
He can't
David
get past the
Montgomery.
O-line when Nick Foles turns around and his dick slaps him in the face.
Well, if the Bears were measured by quarterback penis size, then they'd definitely I'd be stamping this. But
I'd take the Panthers to win the Super Bowl.
Oh,
The Bears just beat the Panthers on Sunday, though.
oh shit.
Uh.
That's how you know it's not measured by dick
The
size.
battle of the dicks.
Big Dick Nick and Big Dick Teddy.
And Big Wetty Teddy.
Whoa.
I don't know. You can't just be Big Dick Teddy. It's got to
No,
rhyme.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
What the
flow.
fuck is a
Yeah,
Weddy
it's like-
then?
It's like saying Montgomery.
Yeah, what is that? Was it, you just made up a
I
term
don't
there?
know. I just had to call it something. It's like saying Montgomery.
Sus.
Can't say Big Dick Teddy.
Sus. All right, I'm shredding this. The Packers are going to win the NFC North.
Richard
Uh,
is scared to say something about the Bears.
Because we're talking about dicks. I didn't get a chance. No, of course I'm shredding it. Nick Foles sucks. No, look, they have Khalil Mack. Their defense is playing well. I don't think they're gonna, sustain this winning percentage through the whole year. The Packers are gonna win the NFC North. Maybe they'll make the playoffs, but I just don't think Nick Foles is that good. I think it'll come around to bite
Yeah.
them.
That's the thing. At 5-1 now, they set themselves up really nice to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
If they didn't make the playoffs, it'd be, they took a 4-6 to finish at 9-7
mm-hmm.
at worst, almost. And then with the
This
extra
guy
wild card
maths.
spot, yeah, I'm just cranking numbers out left and right. But I mean, with the extra wild card spot, they're probably going to get in, but they're
Yeah.
going to lose to the Packers twice. I mean, come on, come on.
Yeah. You never know. Something can happen, but
Yeah, you never know
they
what the
beat
division
the
is.
Bucks.
Rodgers owns the Bears.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I don't think they're gonna win the NFC North. I mean,
All right,
you just
so
watch
3
Nick
shreds.
Foles and he's terrible.
Yeah, he's trash.
3 shreds, two topics in a row. Okay, we'll move on to our third one. This might be time we're going to be maybe shitting on a team that actually does have some legitimate concerns right now. Really, really poor performance last week, and it's not looking too good right now for the New England Patriots. This stamp shred will be quite simple. The New England Patriots will make the playoffs this year. Are you stamping or are you shredding? Richard, why don't you start us off here? Cam boy.
I think I'm gonna shred.
Oh.
I think there's 7 teams make it now.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I'm stamping it. Never mind. I think they're gonna
Okay.
make it. That 7th spot gave them the nod here. I think they'll end up past they won't pass the Bills and win the division, but I don't think the Dolphins are gonna be in second. Also, Cam just missed 2 games? He just came back. They
One
had this
game.
one game he only missed.
One game. They had a bye.
Oh, okay. Well, he hasn't played in 3 weeks up until now. The whole team in general has been barely practicing. Got hit with COVID, this and that. But I don't know. I'm just looking at the standings in the AFC, and I think Bills, Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens obviously going to make it. Titans. It's tough because then you got Browns at 4-2, Colts at 4-2, Raiders 3-2, Dolphins 3-3. Those are all the teams ahead of the Pats right now. I think they're better than the Colts and the Raiders. Because Cam was looking pretty good until they got hit with the COVID scary here. I think they'll turn it around. I think they'll end up making the playoffs. I mean, you got Bill Belichick as a coach. I'll never count them out.
Yeah.
What is it? The Patriots will make the playoffs? I'm stamping that they'll make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they can sneak in. The extra team is interesting. And I honestly don't think it's out of the question that they turn it around and might win this division. Like, the last 2 weeks, the Bills have looked really bad. And I know they were playing the Chiefs last week, and nobody really expected them to win that game besides Matt. But like, it was a game that it was raining. Like, Mahomes wasn't like on his A game. He wasn't. He didn't blow the doors off their defense. They were running the ball
Body
a lot.
clock.
Yeah, body clock.
5 o'clock game.
And a Tuesday game last week.
Yeah, and they got washed last week.
Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, finish your thought first.
Don't talk about body clock. Don't bring it up.
I just don't.
A creature of habit.
I don't think it's out of the question that they make a run and win the division. They're gonna play. They still haven't played the Jets, right?
No, they played them twice.
They played week 1.
No,
No,
the
he's
Bills
talking
played
about
the
the
Jets. The Pats didn't play the Jets yet.
Oh,
That's
the
two
Bills
easy
play
wins.
the Jets. The Bills play the Jets next week, so 5-2.
Yeah. So,
But if they lose to
know.
the Jets, then oh boy.
But
going back
Then
to
we
the
could be
game again.
concerned.
Going back to the game against the Chiefs, like, that was a game that if they were on their game, they should have been in it and definitely could have won. They were even in it at the end there, and like, watching that game, they just looked so bad, getting absolutely ran all over. They had guys over pursuing Edwards-Helaire the whole day, and he ran for like 160 yards. The team ran for 200 and something yards. Undisciplined, 2 late hits in a row in like crunch time that were horrible penalties. They just looked like they didn't even want to win that game, and they could have. So that's concerning for me, and that is not going to happen with a Bill Belichick coach team. So if the Pats can maintain their discipline, I think they still have a shot at winning the division and will make the playoffs. Definitely a wild card, and maybe I think they'll be in the divisional hunt later than people think, and I'm stamping this.
He had his 2 worst games of the year the past 2 weeks, and while
He
Mahomes
looked like shit.
didn't throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, like, he didn't look that off. They were just running the ball so well they didn't need him to sling it. But I mean, what, he have like 5 incompletions or something? Like, it wasn't like he was missing because of the rain.
I mean, look, they lost
No.
by 9 points. It was a sloppy game. They just got beat by a better team. The Titans game, I think, was very, very disappointing from the Bills' perspective. I think that's obviously a way worse loss. They lost by 26 points. But I thought that they held their own against the Chiefs for the most part, and neither team played well.
The 9-point loss, the 9 points is not how close that game was.
Yeah, they scored that. They scored that one touchdown in the fourth quarter. Like, they drove downfield pretty quick. They were down 23-10 at that point. Like, I don't know. I guess they kind of made it a game, but then the Chiefs just easily drove downfield and put the game out of reach.
The Chiefs were obviously a better team.
They had 2 good drives against a bad Chiefs defense. Like, this was an offense that people were raving about for the first few games of the season, and they were able to put together 2 good drives in what everybody thought was going to be a high scoring affair. And I know it was raining, but like, come on, do something.
Okay, the Bills they took a big step back these last 2 weeks, after starting 4-0, and so. But we're not talking about the Bills. We're talking about the Patriots.
That's true.
That's true.
Given that we're talking about the Patriots, I have one more thing that I'm going to say about the Bills. as it pertains to the Patriots, talking about the Pats making the playoffs, I think that the best chance for the Patriots to make the playoffs would be to win the division, because between the Steelers and the Ravens, you have one wild card spot locked up.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the Browns are gonna get one, just because like we just rattled off their schedule, the next 5 games, they should win 3-4 of those. They're in good position. And you said the Colts, Richard. I think that the Colts are better than the Pats, and they do get to play the Jaguars and Texans a couple more times. I think that the Colts will take the wild card spot. So I think your wild cards are going to be Steelers, Ravens, Browns, 2 of the 3, and then the Colts, because the Titans will probably win that division. But looking at the AFC East, as between Bills and Pats, the Bills' next couple of games, they play the Jets, but then they go Patriots, Seahawks, Cardinals, Chargers, who say they're 1-4, they've been in every game. So Patriots, Seahawks, Cardinals, Chargers, Niners, Steelers.
That's tough.
That's as hard as it gets. That's the entire NFC West.
That's the Bills' schedule?
The Patriots and the Steelers. Yeah, that's the Bills' schedule.
You said they played the Rams already. So yeah.
I'm sorry.
Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks.
Yeah,
and
Patriots, Seahawks, Cardinals, Niners, Steelers. Yeah, I mean that's tough. That's really tough, especially after they just played the Titans and the Chiefs. I mean, what is it? The hardest schedule in the league.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole AFC East plays. I mean, they don't play the Steelers, the Jets, but they play the NFC West, the AFC East. Yeah.
So that's going to be tough. So that's why these Patriots Bills games, they play each other twice. I think it's going to be very big. And I do think that the Bills will beat the Pats in both of those games. So I'm going to shred this. I don't think that the Pats make the playoffs. I think that they're just going to barely miss out because some of these wild card teams in the AFC I think are a little bit more complete right now.
We'll see. It depends on Josh Allen, obviously. These were his 2 worst games by far, the 2 losses. See what Bill Belichick can cook up against him to...
Well, they'll have a get-right game against the Jets. So Josh Allen will probably...
It's an easy win for everyone.
That's what that is.
No,
Allen will probably throw for 350. Everything will be good. They'll get their mojo back.
Get your mojo back against the Jets?
Yeah, you get your confidence back. You dominate a team for fucking 60 minutes, and you feel good
it's like going down to the minor leagues. Let me just say...
Yeah, literally.
Let me just say, early on in the season, I was on the record saying that I don't think the Patriots are going to be good, and I still don't think they're good. But I think this is more a testament to how much weaker the AFC is than the NFC. Outside of those division leaders and whoever is the wild card out of the Steelers and Ravens, the AFC is pretty shitty. These teams kind of suck.
The Dodgers are absolutely teeing off on the Rays right now.
What's the score?
8-1. Every time I look up, there's a ball in the gap.
Yeah. Mookie just hit a homer. Did you miss that?
I saw that.
But yeah, outside of the NFC East, which obviously is awful, the teams in the NFC I think are just a lot better than the AFC.
Yeah. I guess.
I'm talking the teams that round.
The
teams that round out
this year than years past.
Like the Colts, the Pats, the Pats,
mean the bottom
the Browns,
of the barrel playoff teams,
the Raiders. Those teams are I have no faith in those teams to go on a little run like the way that the Titans did last year. And now the Titans look like one of those really good teams. I feel like in the NFC it just gets more interesting.
Yeah, it's been like that for a few years, but I think at least the top teams in both conferences are definitely comparable.
I'm talking about those teams that round out the seeding.
All right, makes sense.
Okay, so you guys stamped it. You think the Pats get in? I don't think that the Pats get in. And that's a completely non-biased take. I have no ill will against the Patriots. Never have.
Matt's never picked against the Patriots, actually.
Should we get into
Okay,
some
so
picks?
that's your Stamp Shred segment. I thought that was a very entertaining segment.
Yeah,
Around the clock.
no, it's always nice to have the stamp shred.
I don't know why I just said around the clock. It applied to nothing. It just came out. Rich, what was that thing you said when we were in Brooklyn that day?
Plug and play.
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
I forgot we were talking
why did
about.
I say it?
It had nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Was it
I'll
like,
have to go back and check the tape.
is it like
But
something with Jacoby Brissett, right?
I don't remember, but it was hilarious.
It was
I just
something
did that
about a
with
quarterback.
around the clock. Just threw that in there. But okay, let's move on to our pick segment. And ladies and gentlemen, there was some movement in the standings this week. Things
What
are
did I
getting
say?
very
First of all,
interesting.
okay.
Whoa.
What did I say? And you were like, oh, you know math. You try to like make me seem like a dick. I was like, all it takes is for you to go 0-4 one week, and one of us to go like 3-1 because you were talking mad shit, and then you're not in first anymore. Look what happened.
No, I did say I was complimenting your math skills, and then you botched the standings this week in the group chat when you got it
Yeah.
wrong.
You know,
So,
don't turn it around.
Gave you too much credit.
Tried to
Just
take a
think
win
you
away
got-
from me.
You got cocky too early in week 2.
Yeah, Matt's
What did I say?
Matt's coming
You were
tumbling
like-
down the standings after.
Yeah, you were
s-
talking a big
you were
game,
talking
and
some
I was
shit.
like, all it takes is one bad week, and then we're right in it. And now, look, you're not even in first.
I was being cocky, but what did I say about math?
Because I said that. I was like, all it takes is for you to go like 0-4, and one of us goes 3-1, and we're ahead of you. This was like a few weeks ago, and you were like, oh, you know math? Because you were trying to be like...
Oh, that's true. No, yeah, you did. It was very mind-blowing that you were able to pull that off.
Okay, guys, this isn't the addition and subtraction podcast.
You'll face me in Math Blaster after this?
Okay, so there was movement in the standings this week. Right now, as it currently stands, Alex Masados has taken first place with an 11-8 record. I have fallen to second after going 0-4 this week. I am 10-9. And then Richard is one game back, third place still, at 9-10.
We should all
Now-
be 9-10, actually. Oh, actually, you two should be 10-9 because Alex faked
Oh
the
my
win.
god, again with this fucking Cowboys-Browns game.
No, I'm talking about Alex switching his pick.
Oh my
At
god!
Oh, yeah,
halftime.
Alex is a fraud. But I went
Ridiculous.
0-4. I started out 7-0. I'm 3-9 since. So
It's,
the fun is over.
the
and
flow
now
of
it's
a
time to get
season.
down
It's
to
how
business.
it goes.
Okay, we have 4 games for you here. These are some good games. A lot of teams that we already spoke about at length in this podcast. So we could probably try to keep this a little short. 2 teams that we could literally change our name to these 2 teams, our podcast name. We have the Steelers at the Titans. And what do you guys got?
I'm taking the Steelers. I will ride them every damn week. No, it's sort of a similar situation to against the Browns. I think the Titans are a better team than the Browns, but I just think the Steelers match up well with their run defense. You know, they're going to look to stop Derrick Henry and really put the game in Tannehill's hands, and then they have the pass rush to get to any quarterback in the league. So if you put the game in the hands of a quarterback, it's still not going to be easy. And this is the biggest test for both teams. But I've been rolling with the Steelers every week, and I'm going to roll with them this week. I think they take it against the Titans.
This is a tough
I agree
one.
with you. I'm taking the Steelers because I know I'm really fighting an uphill battle at this point, but I'm still not that sold on the Titans. There's something about them. I don't know if it's just the history of being the Tennessee Titans that I just am finding it hard to believe in, but I just don't think that they can't possibly be this good. And I think that the Steelers are this good.
They're really well coached. That's one of
Tannehill
their
is
strengths.
amazing, and I refuse to accept it.
They just know exactly how to run that team. They have a perfect scheme for Henry, for Tannehill. They have good receivers, good tight end. Their defense looks really good. They're a good team. I don't know if they're, a great team.
You know what? Neither of you guys mentioned, I don't think, unless I wasn't paying attention, is
I said
Taylor Lewan. Taylor Lewan tore his ACL and he's out for the season, and that's easily. I think easily the Titans' best pass blocker and offensive lineman in general.
They haven't really looked worse, but Conklin is on the Browns now, who was their tackle last year. So now they don't have both their starting tackles from last season.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you guys. That's a big loss for them, especially in a matchup against such a lethal pass rush in Pittsburgh. Even though the game's in Tennessee, Steelers are the favorite. They're 4-1 against the spread this season, which is great. And the Titans are only 2-4, even though they're 5-0. I'll take the Steelers as well.
All right, clean sweep for the Kings.
Okay.
I'm going to be a big Steelers fan when Sam Darnold's the quarterback.
I need to get more comfortable.
Poor Sammy Darnold.
He's going to be in the team that has the best receivers every year. And he won't be on the Jets anymore. Good for him.
Yay.
Hypothetically, but right now it's poor Sammy Darnold.
Yeah, until we win meaningless 2 games and then we end up with the second pick and get me.
I really don't think they have the talent on the roster to win a single game.
Win. They're going to go 0-16. All right, next game. No Jets. Darnold Steelers.
That's definitely one team you won't catch on our prediction segment.
Unless we all want an easy win.
Yeah, I might sneak that in there for myself after my rough 2 weeks. Okay, our next game here, divisional matchup. Very interesting game. Seattle Seahawks going to Arizona to face the Cardinals. Cardinals coming off a big win. We didn't talk about this, but they look good. Their defense looks pretty good. What do you guys think?
So
I just went
Seattle
first,
coming
so
off a bye, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Cardinals look really good against a putrid Cowboys team that not only has lost their leader and their starting quarterback and best player in Dak Prescott, but now it looks like they don't even want to play football anymore. That game was... I was shitting on the Bills earlier, but if they wanted a team that looked even worse than them last week, then it was the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, penalties, can't stop a nosebleed. It looked like the players weren't even trying. So I know we're talking about the Cardinals here, but naturally the Cardinals ran it up on them and looked very good. I think the Cardinals are going to be able to get their points against Seattle, given that Seattle's defense isn't anything special. But I am going to take the Seahawks. They're undefeated. They're well-rested, coming off a bye. I just think they're the better team. The Cardinals have had some... I mean, after last week they looked great, but they played one of the worst teams in the NFL. So this will be a rude awakening for them, I think.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. And I mentioned it earlier. While the Cardinals destroyed the Cowboys, one of the worst defenses in the league, and while Murray is an excellent runner of the football as a quarterback, he really has not looked good as a passer in multiple weeks in a row now. I think the week before this past one, he had 20-something completions for 100-something yards. And it's weird because I feel like that wasn't really, a knock on him coming into the league and last year, and He just hasn't looked in rhythm at all, especially with DeAndre Hopkins. They have not really been on the same page, except for that 1 week where he had like 15 catches. But other than that, and I just think the Seahawks are a much better team coming off the bye. Their offense is unstoppable. So if it's going to be a shootout, I'm going to take Russell Wilson over Kyler Murray. Because look, they beat the Cowboys. It's not like there was much of a threat from the other team's offense. So what's Kyler going to do when he's going against someone who can keep it going back and forth? We'll see.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't agree with that there wasn't a threat from the offense. I mean, they still have Zeke, Cooper, Gallup, CeeDee Lamb.
I
think most people thought
that's not what I meant. I meant in terms of the score of the game. I meant like Kyler Murray going out there and,
because they weren't putting up points?
Yeah, like the Seahawks are going to put up points. Like I want to see how he plays when they don't have this comfortable lead and, it's different.
Well, okay, that's fair. I mean, listen, the Cardinals' defense they're pretty good. I think they're a little underrated now. A couple weeks in a row, they've held teams to 10 points or less.
One of them being the Jets, so it doesn't count.
Fair. So I know we mentioned this last night while we were watching the game. That guy, fucking Buda Baker, we were talking about his contract extension in the offseason, saying we didn't know he was worth, highest paid safety in the league money. But that guy was fucking all over the field last night. Yeah, it looked like he single-handedly changed that game and took over it for the defense.
Easily NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Their defense looks pretty good, and it's going to be a shootout, right? We can all expect that because the Seahawks defense, they've given up 23 points, at least 23 points every single game this year. So, they really get scored on a lot. Just as bad as the Cowboys defense with numbers like that. And if yesterday's performance by Kenyon Drake is anything that can carry over into next week, it seems like he finally broke out after all of the hype he had been getting in the offseason. He put together a very good game. He had 180 yards and 2 touchdowns or something like that. But I'm going to take the Cardinals here because this is one of those games where the Seahawks are 5-0. They seem like a team that you're going to want to pick every week, but they're not going to go undefeated. So they're going to drop a game here and there. So I think that this is one of those times where, as Alex loves to say, the Seahawks are due for a loss. And I'm gonna take Arizona here because I was impressed by the offense last night. So give me the Cardinals.
I
this is going to be a big game for us.
Kenyon Drake fake.
The Seahawks do always seem to drop a game to the Cardinals, even when the Cardinals were terrible.
Yeah, they split last year. Yeah.
So, maybe I'll take the I'm kidding.
Well, it's locked in. It's locked in. Move on.
No, I'm sticking with the Seahawks.
Third game of the week. Another NFC West squad here. San Francisco 49ers coming off a good win against the Rams on Sunday night, going to New England to face the Patriots. It's an interesting game.
Yeah.
Who you got, Matt?
Yeah, why don't you start us off?
Okay. I'll go first. I'm going to take the Niners. I was down on the Pats in the last segment. I don't think that they're that good. They got beat by a Broncos team who scored 6 field goals and won the game. They had Drew Lock coming back from missing the past 3 games. He was terrible. He threw for 180 and 2 picks. And they still beat the Pats in Foxborough. So something's not right with New England. And while I was down on the Niners last week, because I picked the Rams against them, they were impressive on Sunday night. They kind of took the game right from the get-go. It was 14-0 or something like that. Never looked back. It looked like the Rams might have made it close at the end there, but it was an impressive win for the Niners. Jimmy G really bounced back in a nice way. And I just think that they're a team that, offensively and defensively, they're just better right now than the Patriots. So I'm going to take the Niners here. Back-to-back home losses for the Pats. I don't know when the last time that's ever happened is, but they usually have Tom Brady, so it's a different Pats team.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I was really thrilled to see the 49ers come back into their own last week, especially considering I picked the 49ers and you guys picked the Rams, so that was a big pick for me. But they looked like the 49ers of old. It was a big game for them, and they stepped up to the occasion. I think some of us here, if not all of us, were saying that was a must-win game for them, and they really did step up and played a great game against their divisional rival, the Rams, moving the ball on offense, getting guys like Deebo Samuel involved, which they were able to do in most of their best games last year. He's been on injured reserve for the first few weeks of this season, and he's back and looks healthy. So that's huge for them. Pretty sure Mostert went down. Not sure if he's playing this week against the Pats. Damn. Okay, that's kind of a big loss. But I'm gonna pick the 49ers as well. I think that win last week was impressive. And like I said in the previous segment, I think I did stamp the Pats making the playoffs, but I don't think the Pats are that good of a team. I think, yeah, they did it last week. They put up 24 points on, which is, it's 24 points. It's nothing crazy, but they were able to move the ball pretty effectively against a good Rams defense. So that was impressive. I think the Pats defense is comparable, so I think the 49ers should be able to have similar success against them. So I'll take the Niners.
All right. I'm the opposite of you two. I'm going with the Pats here. I'm looking for a big bounce back game from this team. They've had a lot of crazy stuff going on the past few weeks. I think they finally have like a nice preparation week. Cam back for another game, hopefully back in a rhythm. I think Bill Belichick will have a good game plan for the 49ers, and Jimmy Garoppolo, a guy who he coached for 4 years before they traded him to the 49ers.
Interesting. Garoppolo revenge game. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just think this is definitely because the Pats are 2-3. So this is a big win for them too, just like the 49ers last week. That was a big game for them. This is a big game for the Pats. I think Belichick will have them ready to go, have them prepared. And I think the team as a whole is looking to bounce back and prove that they're still, a good team. And still, look, the 49ers looked, like the 49ers of old, we want to say last week. But they still aren't at the same time due to a bunch of the injuries that they have. Nick Bosa's still not there. Now Mostert's out. I don't know has Sherman been back yet?
I don't know.
No,
I should probably know that, but I don't know.
No, yeah, he's still out. So I don't think they are the 49ers of old just yet. Offensively, they looked much better. Obviously, having Deebo back is huge. Ayuk is looking pretty good coming along. But now, like we just said, they lost Mostert, so we'll see where they go there. But I'm taking the Pats in a bounce-back game for them and a win in a game that they really need so they don't fall too far behind the Bills and the Dolphins. I never thought I'd say the Dolphins in that sentence, but
yeah. Okay, so 2 Niners, 1 Patriots.
Best game of the week coming up, right?
Oh, no. This one we got shoved in here. This will be the last game of the week. I got a fucking fly flying around here. Last game of the week here. Chicago Bears in Los Angeles against the Rams. That's all I got.
Give me the Los Angeles Rams.
I'm definitely taking the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams.
Me too.
Wow. Is there only one difference this week? Me picking the... No. Someone else picked someone different.
I took the Cardinals.
Okay.
Bears offense, trash. Rams defense, good. Rams win.
Perfect analysis.
Why say many words when you can say little?
I mean, listen, Jared Goff played terrible on Sunday night. So that was against a good Niners defense.
Yeah, that's true.
That's banged up a little bit. This is a good Bears defense that's pretty healthy as far as I know. Hopefully, for the sake of my pick, because I'm taking the Rams, but I think Goff should probably bounce back because he needs to. That was a really, really bad game on Sunday night. Just never really got anything going. But, yeah, like you said, Alex, I mean, the Bears' offense is really nothing to be afraid of. I don't expect them to be able to score many points. I think this will probably be a low-scoring game because it's, good defense, bad offense. All the Bears games are low-scoring because they just can't score and they stop their opponents from scoring. So it's kind of just like a scrappy fight like that, who can kick a field goal late in the game to get the win. But I just think the Rams are too talented to drop this game. Coming off a loss too, they know they need to make up some ground here. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, taking the Rams as well. I'm just not buying this Bears team at all. I just cannot. And look, I've went against Foles in the past and been bitched by the BDN. Slapped me in the face with it. Wasn't pretty. But no, I'm taking the Rams for the same reasons that Matt said.
Whoa.
What?
Did you see that, Alex?
Not really.
Look at this replay. Just a sick double play in the Dodgers game. Continue, Rich. I'm sorry.
No, I was just
Okay.
saying, like,
Wow, that's
same
crazy.
reason as you. I think the Rams will bounce
Sick.
back. I don't trust Nick Foles and the Bears offense at all. I just think the Rams are a better team. So I'm taking the Rams. Slap it on
Okay.
down.
All right.
Alright.
3 Rams. Couple games here, 2 games where we can move around in the standings. We're all within 1 game of each other. So it seems things are going to get interesting from here on out.
We'll see.
But there you have it.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row we've gotten some pretty long episodes because there's a lot of discussion to be had.
Yeah.
It
There's
was-
a
it
lot
was
to talk
rough
about.
when it was beginning of the season and there's an NBA game every night, so it's hard to really discuss a series and a game when by the time the episode's out and people listen, it'll be 3 games later. And now football season, you got a whole week. You got a whole week to talk about. But that will conclude this episode. Do you guys have any last thoughts?
2 weeks in a row now, breaking news happened as we on the day we record. Thank God Tua was announced today and not tomorrow.
Last week, Le'Veon Bell. We'll see Le'Veon Bell this upcoming week, hopefully, for the Chiefs.
Chiefs Jets is this week.
No.
Oh,
Just saying,
you
like,
okay?
he'll
Just
play.
meant to. All right.
This is why we say before every episode maybe you shouldn't come on.
Who's hyped
No,
for
it's,
Giants Eagles on Thursday?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
5 wins for the division through 6 weeks. Let's go.
Is that a first place matchup there?
It must be.
Winner takes first. Oh no, the Cowboys only have 4 losses. But yeah, I mean that division sucks. So that's all there is to say.
That'll be a fun watch, right?
Yeah, it's gonna suck when the Eagles make the playoffs at 6-9-1, and the Cardinals miss out at 9-7
Yeah.
in that division.
But yeah, so we're hopefully going to see Bell play this week for the Chiefs. Edwards-Helaire coming off a great performance, so we'll see how much they split him up there. We're going to see Tua in 2 weeks, so we'll talk to you another time before we see him play. Yeah, those were the 2 breaking news that we finally got to cover the day of.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Let's keep the streak rolling next
so
week.
thank you once again if you made it to the end of this
Hopefully we're
podcast.
recording the day Darnold gets traded next week.
Yeah, to the Cowboys apparently. Hopefully the Steelers. Yeah, so like we said last week, if you made it this far, we all know a doctor. We can give you a number. If something's wrong, we can talk to you as well. Just reach out. No, but thank you. Thank you if you made it to this point, and we'll talk to you next time.